Shadow Hand Sect. Origin of Shadow Hand Deity. Name, Cleric. Cleric started out his life as a trapped spirit, having been banished through a gate to another dimension in a battle with a powerful wizard. Cleric spent his time studying all around him and using his remaining powers to keep his end of the gate open. He learned that there was a magical sink in his last world that was feeding his current world that he was trapped in. He was able to tap into this sink and build up colossal reserves of power. He used these powers to build up a great fortune, and also unlock parts of his mind so that he could share this power with others. As long as the sink was open to him, he would have close to unlimited powers. After a time, a group of adventurers gated close to him, and he was able to link his gate to theirs, thus finding a way back to the world that he was from. One of the adventurers chose to become his new head cleric, and he was able to use this new link to get back to the world he was from. Shadow Hand clerics are a neutral bunch, and some say they lean a little towards some of the dark arts. Because of this, they are not trusted by the other cleric branches, and non-lethal battles between the branches break out regularly. Shadow Hand clerics gain a few extra abilities that other clerics don't get. They can call upon undead in a mile radius to help them in battle. The undead don't have to help, but usually do, in exchange for a favor from the cleric. Shadow clerics can also block a paladin's sensing when they are a 1/2 mile or closer to the paladin. The following spells a Shadow Hand cleric gets from adventuring. Minor spells. Resist darkness. The target is resistant to all darkness-based attacks. Duration is dice dependent. Grenadier. The caster hurls an exploding grenade that causes a shrapnel-based attack. This will hurt the caster's companions as well. Madness. Can cause the target to become insane, attacking all around the target. In this state, the target has increased strength, agility, and the ability to receive multiple mortal wounds without dying. Duration is dice dependent. Night vision. Caster can see in the dark. Duration is dice dependent. Flight. Caster grows large bat wings and can fly for a certain amount of time. Duration is dice dependent. Minion retrieval. Caster calls up creatures of the night, such as bats, rats, wolves, and owls to fight for him. Her duration is dice dependent. Hell steed. The caster calls forth a fiendish steed to ride. The steed runs 3 times faster than a regular steed. The steed stays for 6 hours at a time. Terror. The caster causes the target to become terrified of an unknown being. Duration is dice dependent. Mid-level spells. Guardian Darkness. A globe of darkness surrounds the target, protecting them from 4 ranged attacks, 4 melee attacks, 4 minor or 2 major spells, and keeping up to 4 enemies at least 8 feet away from the target. Duration is dice dependent. Ghoulish Touch. Caster takes on the power of a ghoul such that if touched, the target feels terrible pain, and loses all power in the affected area. Duration is dice dependent. Darkness Claws. Caster grows 4 large claws made of shadow that rend the target. Duration is dice dependent. Leech. The target of the spell becomes so mad that it attacks one target, and one target only, of the caster's choosing. Duration is dice dependent. She attacks until the target is dead, they are dead, or the spell runs out. Darkness Weapon. The caster can create any weapon out of the darkness that they want. Duration is dice dependent. Speed of the Werewolf. The caster moves as fast as a werewolf, which is 2.5 times faster than normal speed. Duration is dice dependent. Grip of the Wolf. The caster can grab the target with as much power of a werewolf's bite. Duration is dice dependent. Vampiric Fangs. The caster grows the fangs of a vampire, and if they bite their target, the target must serve the caster for 2 days. Puppy. The target follows the caster around trying to get the caster's approval by doing whatever they want him to do and protecting the caster. Duration is dice dependent. Major spells. Slave. the target becomes a slave to the caster. Duration is dice dependent. Combo, the target loses all their mana and energy to the caster, and the target falls unconscious. Voice of power, when this voice is used, the target must obey a one-word command given by the caster, one-time use only. Primus, the caster causes everyone in the sound of their voice to obey their commands for one action. Duration is dice dependent. Skin, the target looks like whatever the caster wants it to. Duration is dice dependent. Darkness doorways, caster can travel between two patches of darkness. The caster must see both the starting and ending points. Mana sink, the caster can use all living things around him, herself to keep their mana reserves full or give mana to a friend in need. If they draw mana from living human beings, then they lose a part of their soul to the shadow cleric deity, until they will become undead themselves, living only to serve the deity, and running from the battle after it is done, never to be seen from again. Duration is dice dependent. Undead servant, a beloved companion can decide to serve the cleric. For this to occur, the servant becomes an undead with vampire-like powers, but is not harmed by sunlight. For the servant to truly die, the cleric that created it must also die.
The depths of Cardrum.
Resurrect companion. The caster can raise a companion from the dead.
Horace the dragon hunter.
The resurrected companion is now an undead and must serve the caster for a full day. The resurrected companion has all the powers that they had in life. Darkness Lord. The cleric becomes a being made totally of darkness and can use any darkness magic that she can imagine. The cleric is only harmed by magic weapons and spells and can also possess any being that they come into contact with. Duration is dice dependent.